Hytale is an upcoming RPG and sandbox open world game that will have many ways of travel and transportation. What will these features look like in early access, and what can we expect in the future? Hey guys, my name is Chaser, and today we're going over travel and transport in Hytale. If you enjoyed this video and want to support me, consider using code Chaser in the Hytale store. It really helps out the channel. Also, I'm trying to hit 4,000 subscribers by the end of January, so please consider subscribing to help your boy out. The feeling that I'm getting from the sheer amount of mounts that Hytale already has and plans to add gives me the impression that they want a wide range of variety for methods of travel. And I'm going to make this point now. I really hope that Hytale does not have teleportation, and let me explain. We know that we will be able to use portals to get to World Gen V2 areas, but that's not exactly what I mean. The thing is, if Hytale has a way for you to just teleport from one part of the map to the other extremely easily, there would be zero incentive to use any other methods of travel. Also, it would kind of just be lame given how many cool methods of travel are in the works. And in my opinion, it would take away from the crazy amounts of ambience, world building, and immersion that Hytale puts into a living and breathing world. Hey, I think I made a video on that. I'm not entirely against the idea of teleportation, but it has to be done extremely specifically for it to work. It's similar to the problem that Minecraft has with the Elytra. It's objectively the best method of travel, making every other option obsolete. Hytale is extremely fantasy based, so they can and hopefully will capitalize on that fact and make tons of fantasy and magic styled ways of travel instead of instantly teleporting somewhere. And I will talk about that later. But a way that I think teleportation could work in Hytale is similar to Valheim. In Valheim, you can craft two portals and put them anywhere on the map, which links them together. These portals allow you to teleport between each other, with the catch being you can't bring any valuable crafting material through. This is one of the only ways that I could see teleportation working fine in Hytale. This way, there's an incentive to use teleportation because it's instant, but it's not overpowered since you can't bring anything valuable through it. Another solution is to add a super rare item that specifically allows a one-time use teleport. It would have to be really rare though. My point with teleportation is that I'd prefer to not have it in the game. But if it is in Hytale, it needs to be balanced with other methods of travel. Speaking of other methods of travel, we already know of a few that are confirmed for Hytale. These include minecarts, hot air balloons, rams, dinosaurs, gliders, and more. It'd be cool to see minecart tracks generate in caves similar to Terraria. It would be a fast but dangerous way to move around the caves, and who knows, maybe you'll stumble across some ore along the way. Hot air balloons always looked really fun to me. We've barely seen any footage of it, but it does look really cool. I wonder if Hytale has coal, and if not, what's the main fuel of the game? Rams are one of the first mounts that we ever see in the trailer, and they look extremely fast. I wonder if you can only ride them in the snow area, or if you can also take them anywhere. Dinosaurs, specifically raptors, are probably the fastest mount we've seen yet. They look awesome and very fun to use. I wonder if we can use the other dinosaurs as mounts as well. Gliders were added just recently, and they look so sick, definitely giving Breath of the Wild vibes. I'm interested to see at what part of the game you can actually craft this and how expensive it is to make. Obviously, horses are in the game, which likely means they're rideable, and grappling hooks were also confirmed by Simon on X, but we don't know too much about them right now. I'm sure that there are more methods of travel that are confirmed, like boats for example, but I mainly just wanted to showcase my favorites. Now in my opinion, it's important for travel to be very personalized, similar to combat, which by the way, I made a video talking about my suggestions for combat if you are interested. It would be fun to see different mounts utilized for specific ways, giving more of a reason for players to use variety in the way they travel. For example, the ram could be faster only when running on snow or ice, making it a viable option for traversing Zone 3. Actually, a perfect example of this we can already see in game are gliders. You don't move very fast with gliders, but the advantage to taking one with you on your adventure is for scaling down massive mountains that generate throughout the world, which will only get even crazier once Orbis is entirely generated in V2 generation. Speed is not apparent with the glider, but the convenience of just floating down a mountain is what makes it worth using. Hot air balloons could be another example of this. They're extremely slow and probably use fuel, but they can fly and most likely hold more than one person, making it a reliable method of transportation for more than one person at once. Minecarts could also be proven useful. What if there is a small chest or storage attachment you can put into a minecart which will make taking loot up and down caves easier? Same with horses. Allow players to attach storage to the saddle of horses for extra space, and if you want to get even crazier, allow players to craft horseshoes from every tier of ore, making the horse slightly faster. All of these methods of travel have importance in their own way, and not discrediting the other. And you can use the mount that benefits your situation the most without one being objectively better at doing everything than the other. If you're mining, minecarts will be more useful, and if you need to scale down a mountain, gliders are the way to go. Okay, now with that point across, let's talk about the methods of transport that I would add. It's important to stick with Hytale's old medieval fantasy theme, so obviously adding a modern day car is just not going to cut it. First, let's start off small, and one of my most desirable methods of transport are carriages. Perfectly fitting Hytale's theme, carriages could be an early game craftable that you can attach to a horse or two. It could hold 2 people and store up to 2 chests worth of items. Carriages would be slow but reliable. You should also be able to detach horses from the carriage at any point. They should be comparable in speed to a player sprinting and could only go up 1 block. We could also incorporate an idea from earlier. Depending on the tier of horseshoe you attach to the horses, the carriage will move ever slightly faster. This would be a great way to transport resources, and since it's a 2-seater, maybe you can even bring an NPC in it. Another idea is to be able to attach a small cart to a wild snow wolf once you tame them. These are the only types of wolves that you can do this with, and you could attach a small cart to the wolf which holds 1 player and 1 chest worth of items. These wolves excel at traversing the snow, so while a ram may be better to bring for combat purposes, the wolves are best for traversing goods in the harsh snowy terrain. And speaking of snowy terrain, we need sleds. I'm not going to elaborate on that, we just need sleds. Now moving on to the bigger stuff. Sailboats can be crafted easily and function similarly to the boat in Minecraft, except depending on the wind direction, your speed will increase. It would also be cool if you can sail the boat and go fishing at the same time. Sailboats can be used to travel the ocean, where you can find moving structures, the brigantine. The brigantine is a medium-sized ship that is overrun by skeleton pirates. Once you take out the skeletons, you can permanently take over the ship. You can walk on these ships while they are sailing, making it as functional as a base. You should be able to upgrade the ship, increasing its durability. This could also be lore for the sunken shipwrecks we already know about in the ocean. We can take this a step further by adding airships. Airships are the upgrade to hot air balloons. They move extremely slow and are weak to projectiles, but they can fly and are pretty big, making transporting storage very convenient. And finally, the big stuff. Steampunk trains could be an endgame transport method that are very expensive to make. You can craft each individual cart for the train, changing the color of each cart and all, making it fully customizable. You can craft large rails, which cost a lot of minerals, and they are 4 blocks wide. The inside of the train would also be 4 blocks wide, and you could change the interior however you want. They are fueled by coal or maybe some sort of steampunky mechanical engine. And of course, dragons. You can't have a fantasy game without dragons. We know they are confirmed, but I'm not sure if we know they're rideable yet. This is arguably the hardest transport method to balance. It kind of depends on how you would go about getting a dragon, but I imagine it's in late game. Obviously, dragons can fly and are likely extremely quick. Maybe this is just my opinion, but I hope that even in endgame Hytale, when you have everything, there is still a reason to use some of the other methods of transport. It's for that reason that dragons still need to be balanced with other transport methods. An idea I had for this is that the dragon has to rest for a few in-game days depending on how far you fly it for. If dragons are elemental, then each type could have its own attack, making it worthy to bring into battle. This way, players can't take it out every single time they want to go somewhere, but it is one of the most reliable and quick ways to get around. And the dragon itself is a weapon. I'm not going to lie to you guys, the possibilities for transport methods, especially mounts, are boundless. If they really wanted to, they could take the Ark approach and just make most mobs rideable or tameable in some way. Imagine brute forcing your way through a cave riding a Skarak, or even taming the ever-beloved Mosshorns. I mean, the game is fantasy. I'm sure Hytale will have some sort of magical transport system similar to the Minecraft Ender Pearl, but not just like cheap instant teleportation from across the map. The thing is, it's Hytale. I know who's running this game. If teleportation becomes that big of a problem for Hytale, then the devs will know about it and fix it. This video is kind of just me brainstorming cool ways for us to feel even more immersed in Hytale's beautiful living world, especially with the new world generation. Transportation shouldn't be overlooked. It's the biggest part of an open world game, especially considering Hytale will have a story and quests. We need many reliable methods of transport that are also good fun and still fits Hytale's medieval fantasy theme. I think the Hytale team knows this, especially considering how quick they were to add the glider and grappling hook. These types of random additions to the game makes me feel like a kid on Christmas again. It's knowing the fact that Hytale will just add random stuff that's actually useful and fun just for the sake of doing it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Stay tuned to my channel because I'm streaming 24 hours straight on Hytale's launch day right here on YouTube, January 13th. Leave a comment down below of your travel and transport suggestion. Thank you guys so much for watching, take care, and have a good night.